Hey everybody, this is our first year doing our vegetable garden from seed indoors, and they have finally got big enough that we can plant them outside. As for the tomato plants, we actually had to pot them up 2 different times, from the seedlings to the solo cups and now to these bigger pots here. Some of them are even in these Easter buckets, but you just have to give them room to grow until it's warm enough outside. Otherwise the roots will bind up and it's not going to be good for them. So give them room to grow before they move outside, and that's what we've done here. So here we have a beautiful cherry tomato plant. And we thought it'd be a good idea. I had a bunch of these peanut cans left over that we saved. And so we planted some in it. We wrapped it with this vinyl to make it look cool for tomato. But the problem I found out, it has this little lip on there. Dang it. So you can't just dump it out. So I'm gonna have to actually cut it with a blade to figure out how to get that out. But I am attempting to plant our first tomato plant right now. It's getting to be evening time. The shade is coming in onto this raised bed. I got a tomato thing going here, the cage. So I'm gonna cut this out and then we're gonna put this one in the ground. First tomato plant in the ground. Here we go. So that wasn't actually too bad. I just cut off the top. So I guess these peanut cans would actually work if you have extras like we did. Just cut the tops off first maybe, because as you can see it actually works, and then we drilled holes in the bottom. Anyways, this one's ready to go. It has a thinner stem there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's thinner here and then it beefs out, and that's because some of the dirt washed away and went down. So I guess you should always have the dirt level and not try to do a mound around it. That's another tip. So we'll go ahead and see if this will come out now that we like this. But oh yeah, look at that. So it's pretty good because it's a little bigger surface area than the solo cups, and you can see the roots are going good. So we'll put him aside, and then I just got to dig out the area that we're going to put it in. It's going to go right inside here. And if you remember, if you watch our other videos, we put cardboard down beneath. So what you have to do is dig all the way down and get through that cardboard, because that will help the roots to get through the cardboard. And it's only it's an 8-inch bed, so it shouldn't be too difficult. On the 16-inch one back here, I don't think it's necessary to even go to the cardboard, because they say tomato plants don't go much more than 12 inches deep as far as the roots go. So because this is 8, we do have to go all the way down and get past that cardboard. Almost there. Our first tomato plant, huh, Kenley?
Mm-hmm.
Excited?
Yeah.
Me too. First one in the ground. Weather finally warmed up. It was in the 70s today, and we've had nothing but bad weather lately.
We also planted some lettuce.
So yeah, we put the lettuce in first, which of course, if anyone is experienced gardeners, unlike us, you could have planted lettuce straight into the ground, even if it was gonna snow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of worms in it.
Yeah, we're digging up the worms now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We like worms. So we see the cardboard, we got through the cardboard. Can't really see that, but that's a piece of the old cardboard. So we know we broke through so the roots can get down to the bottom, and we just gotta plop this down in there. So with a tomato plant, you can go a little deeper because the stem has little things, little hairs that shoot out, and those can become roots, and it makes it even stronger.
Isn't that same with like squash? Because they have the fuzzy.
I don't think
stem.
squash actually does it. It's weird. Tomatoes do. I think like zucchini. No, I'm not sure. I know tomatoes do. There's only a couple. Maybe eggplants. But yeah, most things you don't want to plant deeper than where it was when you began from the pot. You want to keep it the same level because that will stunt its growth if you go too deep. With tomatoes, you can always go deeper because it just, like I said, the roots are going to come out and just make it stronger and thicker and better. So there it is. Look at that. We got her in.
Yep.
Our first tomato plant. Exciting. And that came from seed, all the way from seed, straight to the garden. By the way, in case you're wondering what we filled these raised beds with, it's a combination of a few things. On the bottom half, you don't need to be too picky on the more expensive stuff, but we've put this garden soil. I don't know if you can see that over there. It's just Miracle-Gro. That's all we have at our place around here. I've read other kinds are better, but our Home Depot and Lowe's, this is all they offer, is the Miracle-Gro stuff. So I had to go with that, and that's kind of the bottom filler. And you can mix that with this stuff, Peat Moss. This is a big old bag. And but they say don't put more than 20% mixture of this because it has a lot of I can't remember what it is, but it will burn out your plants if you put too much of it. So don't add more than 20%. So what we do is we pour it in here, and then we mix it around. And but then at the top layer, once we get to the very top, you want to use the good stuff, and that's this raised bed mix. It's made just for raised beds, so it's really pure stuff. You know, it's for vegetables, fruits, and gardens. It's 100% organic, which is nice. So we're just doing a little bit of everything, but it's our first year. We'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people are big on all organic, and we'll probably switch to that in the future. But right now, it's all a test and a trial. Anyways, we just wanted to share that with you, like I said. So garden soil, and the very bottom, if your beds are even more than 16 inches, they say you can even put just anything down there, just regular dirt or wood mixture and things like that. That's going to break down over time. But that's one thing I've heard is the more you put in to your dirt, your soil, that's like the most expensive part. A lot of people spend so much time and money on the look of the actual raised bed and all the hardware to put that in, and then they put this cheap dirt in, and obviously, you know, the dirt is what's going to give you the awesome vegetables. So don't spare expense on your dirt. It's pretty pricey to put all this in. Of course, I should have actually just called some local guy and brought in some compost mixture. And again, because it's my first year, we're just kind of testing it all out. But I'm sure next year I won't even try Lowe's or Home Depot. But if you're going to, I would recommend this stuff, the raised bed stuff. But again, don't fill the entire thing with it, just the very top layer, you know, or maybe two bags at the top, because you can mix in this peat moss and this other stuff, which is a little less expensive. So anyhow, we're almost there. So this is the peat moss, and then we just kind of sprinkle it around and add it too. And then when you mix it, you can see it's the darker soil. The peat moss is a little lighter. What I think the peat moss actually helps it retain moisture. That's one of the biggest things it does. So that way, if it rains or you water it, then you don't have to water it as often, and it won't dry out either, which is good, because if your roots dry out, then that hurts them. So it's good to have some peat moss mixture in there. A lot of the stuff you have or that you buy already has a little bit of peat moss in it, but like I said, don't if you're gonna mix it yourself, don't add more than 20%. because that will be too much, because it's not necessarily good for the growth of the plant. It's just mainly for the to retain the moisture, as far as I know. Again, I'm just learning. So if anyone knows what they're talking about, comment down below and let us know. Anyways, that's how it's done. So now we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna add the raised bed mixture soil on top, and that's gonna be the good stuff. So here we have the hill method, I think they call it. It's either hill or mound method, I'm not sure. We just tried that. It's a little less inexpensive than the raised bed method, but it's just basically dirt. We mounded it up, and then in between we put the wood chips, and we put this layer here which keeps out the weed. It's a weed barrier. And then we put in our lettuce, and we're prepping more for others. It's gonna be good. But like I said, on the raised beds we have the good mixture like we showed you with the raised bed stuff, and it's a little more expensive this way, but we want to put our tomatoes and peppers in there. Things like lettuce and squash and whatnot, those they grow on their own pretty easily, so they don't need all that special stuff. But we want to have some good tomatoes and good peppers. So here's the two mixtures we mixed together with that peat moss, like I told you, a little raised bed soil, and then just the plain garden soil. And you can see it gives you instructions on how to use it and how many square feet it covers, the different ingredients in it, formulated one or more of the following. It has peat in it, like I said, processed forest products and composite, all those things that I can't pronounce. Alfalfa meal, bone meal, kelp, earthworm castings. I know those things are all good because it helps. Guaranteed satisfaction or your money back within 6 months of purchase. If you, the consumer, are not completely satisfied with the results of this product, we will refund your purchase. How about that? So there's a reason to try out Miracle-Gro, because they stand behind it, even if you're not satisfied. I don't know what the process is, but hey, it's worth a shot. And then the garden soil, you'll see the difference of this. Same thing, it shows how many bags you need per thing. But as far as the ingredients, what's different? Product is formulated from one or more of the following: peat, forest products, core, and composite, sphagnum, peat moss, fertilizer, and a wetting agent. So this one does not have the worm casting, earthworm castings, the kelp meal, or the bone meal, or the poultry litter, and the alpha meal. So there's quite a bit more in this one here, and it's actually not that much more expensive. It's half a cubic foot less for the same price. Okay, so this one has 1.5 cubic feet. This one is 2 cubic feet. And like I said, they're the same price for both bags. So for half a less cubic foot, you get the raised bed soil, which has a lot better ingredients in it, as you can see. And it only covers half a foot more. So I don't know. It might be worth, if you want to go all out and spend a little bit more money, it might be worth going for the raised bed mixture instead of just the garden soil. Depending on how tall your bed is, it's up to you. But again, this is our first year doing this, so we're just trying everything out, and we'll see how it works. And we're excited. Another thing we've been adding to our vegetables as they've been growing. In fact, we've only added it one time, but it's this Job's organic vegetable and tomato granular plant food. It's 100% organic, and it's good stuff. I think so. It seems to be popular from the research I've done. But it has all the good stuff like phosphates, which is good for tomatoes, and calcium's in there, and like fish, all those kind of things. Like I said, I'm not a pro, but we have added this one time to our plants, and I think that helped it boost the strength and the growth of it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so every 4 to 6 weeks, sorry. And it doesn't take much, only 1.5 teaspoons per plant. You can add it, you can mix it in with the soil, or you can add it with water over time. But it seems like it's good stuff. We like it. One thing I forgot to mention is I've heard you put this 3-in-1 garden spray on it. And it's organic, it's made by Maggie's Farm. There's tons of different types, but it has pretty much everything you need in it. And it's cool because it kills and repels all the different kind of insects and whatnot. And it controls the black spots and the powdery mildew, blight, and rust. And it helps from like sunburn and all that kind of good stuff. So always recommended to spray once you put it in the ground. Spray it with this stuff here. You just do a light spray on the leaves itself. So you just cover all the leaves here. Another good thing I've seen is you put hydrogen peroxide on. I'm not sure about that, but maybe I should have tried that too. Anyways, this stuff's supposed to be real good. It protects from all that stuff. So you can see it's nice and soaked on the leaves. And we'll see how this one turns out. It's our first tomato plant in the ground. Planted it from seed. So you can see here the ingredients. It has thyme oil and whatever oil that is, cinnamon oil and peppermint oil, which are all good things to put on your plants. A lot of people do them separate, but I guess this kind of just covers it all. And it's just, again, it's good for all of those pests and things. And anyways, I would recommend using a 3-in-1 garden spray if you can get your hands on some. So we cannot wait to get these last plants into the ground. We potted them up, and they're, like I said earlier, we had to make them bigger because we had to wait so long to get warm weather, right, Kinley?
Yeah, and it's raining today, so they got their first taste of rain.
That's right. You can see the rain spots on them. We had them outside. We had to bring them under the shade here so that they could dry out a little because it's been raining a lot. But we cannot wait to get these out, and we'll continue to update you as our first time garden goes all summer long. See you later.
Bye.